Welcome! In this video I'm going to be taking a look at this KEFEYA KX2 14-inch laptop screen extender. So this was provided to me by the distributor, but they're not compensating me for this video and they're not reviewing it before I post it. If you find this video helpful and you want to purchase one of these, I'll put a link to it in the description, and if you use that link it helps me out a little bit and doesn't cost you anything extra. So some features listed on the side: it's 14-inch, 1080p, 60 Hz, 300 candela per meter squared, 1001 contrast ratio. This is an IPS panel. So let's get this open. We have the cables here. Here's the panel. And we have the instructions. Let me get those out. So here's a quick start guide. This shows the different parts. We have the monitor, we have cables, we have USB-A to USB-C, USB-C to USB-C, and HDMI to mini HDMI. So it has buttons on the front here, has a kickstand. So there's a plus and minus on the side. This is for adjusting volume and backlight. If you want to adjust the volume, you want to press plus first, and then you can press either one. And if you want to do backlight, you want to do minus first. Then we also have a menu for on-screen display. So this talks about using it. You want to open it up, you want to expand it. Has a kickstand. This can connect with many laptops with USB Type-C. For some, you want to connect to the USB for power and then HDMI for the display. And here's the full manual. Let's take a quick look at it. So we have some notes here. And it's going to have lots of the same things here. Now this can rotate 90 degrees. So this can connect with a laptop, but it can also connect with things like mobile phones and gaming systems like a Switch. Then it talks about doing the configuration here. Okay, so let's try this out. So it has a band here to hold it closed. Pull that off. So this shows the different ports. So we have two Type-C and a mini HDMI. And then here's the kickstand. So this will lift up and this will rotate, like so. So let's open this. So this is spring-loaded. So let me get my laptop here. So this is a MacBook Pro with an M4 processor. So I'll open this up, and I'm going to hook this on the screen on the right side, and then I'll pull the springy part out and clamp it in place. I'll adjust the kickstand a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to get the USB-C to USB-C cable. Now this says full featured Type-C, and this is going to go in the USB-C port on the back of the monitor. I'm going to use the angled one on the back of the monitor. Also want to lift this up. There's little tabs that go on the top of the monitor also. There we go. So let me peel the film off here. Now I'll plug this in. That should power it up. Power it up quick. Now it has to connect up to the computer. So here we have the screen. Now this is sitting flat, but we can angle this up if we want. So that can give us a little better viewing angle. Let's look at the adjustments. So if I press the power button, that will bring up the on-screen menu. So these are typical settings like you would find on a TV or monitor. Now I can adjust the brightness here, but I can also adjust those with these buttons. So it's on 80, I'll turn this up. So this is now on 100, it's full brightness. I'll wait for that to go away and I can change the volume here. So the resolution on this looks pretty low right now, so I'm going to go into my settings and I'll go to displays and I'll click on the KX2 and I want to set this to 1080p. So now the resolution has changed on this monitor. Next I'm going to go to arrange and I'll change the orientation. So I'll orient it on the right side and I'll hit done. So now I can drag between these two screens. So let me open up a web browser. So I can place the web browser on the screen on the right. And here I have Visual Studio Code on the left. So if I was doing development, I could develop on here and look at my previews on the right side. Let's pull up a video. So here I have a video. I'll pull it over here. Now if I want the audio to come out here, I want to go to my sound preferences. Now I have it in my menu bar, so I can just select it in my menu bar. And I have the little sound bar here. I can hit the little arrow and I can change this to KX2. So let's play this video. So there's a little sample of the video playing. It looks really sharp. Now I have pretty good speakers on my laptop, so I'd probably use the speakers on there, but it does have speakers built in if you do need external speakers. Now it's not required to have it in this exact orientation. You can put this in portrait mode, so I'm going to unplug it, and I'll disconnect it from my laptop. So now I have this standing straight up, and I'll plug it back in. And I'm going to go into my display settings, and I'm going to choose the KX2, and here it says rotation. So I'll say, I think 90 degrees. Let's try that. Nope. So I'll revert. I want to go to 270 degrees. There we go. So if we have a long document, we can display that here, or maybe a long web page. This could also be good for code. If you have a lot of code, you can display it in portrait mode. Now this can be used for more than just computers. We can set up a gaming system. So let me get that set up. Okay, so here I have it hooked up to a switch. So I plugged the USB into this switch just the same way I did when I plugged it into my laptop, but this cannot supply power to the display. So I've taken the USB-A to USB-C cable that was supplied with it and plugged it into here with USB-C, and I plugged it into a USB charger with USB-A. So you could use a phone charger or something similar, and now we have it up on our display. So now I can play this just like it would be on a TV. Now if you have a device that takes HDMI, you can plug the mini HDMI into the display and the HDMI into your device. So that could be a laptop or a mini PC. And in that same regard, you want to have USB power. That can be a phone charger, or if you're plugging it into a laptop or computer, you can power it off the computer itself. When we're done using this, we can unplug the cables and we can fold this up for storage. So I'm going to pull this out, and that will clip on the end, so that will hold it closed. And then we can also put this back on. So this is very lightweight and takes up very little room. So that's the KEFEYA KX2 14-inch laptop screen extender. Many of us use dual screen displays at our desks and in our office, but when we're on the go, we can miss that when we're just using a laptop. With the screen extender like this, we can take our second screen with us, so you can use this in a remote work location, hotel. You could use this at a client's office. Now I had this back on the laptop, but say you're a realtor, you could actually flip this around and show it to your customers, so you can have one screen pointing at you and the other pointing at your customers. So you can use it for things like presentations. This is very versatile in that many laptops you can just plug the Type-C in to provide power and video to the device, but on legacy devices you still have that HDMI input. So this should work with anything you can use a traditional monitor with, which would be laptops, computers, video game systems. So if you're looking for a way to get a second monitor when you're on the go, I think that's a great option. So that's all I'm going to cover in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.